Hello everyone. In this lecture, I am going to cover brief introduction about electrical drive system. The outlines of this lecture are as follows. First, I will cover the introduction part of the drive system. In this, I will explain about the drive system and electrical drive system and what is the difference between drive system and electrical drive system. Then, I will discuss about the block diagram of complete drive system. Then I will come to its various component, its application of the various component, its requirement of the various components of the drive system. Then the advantage of electrical drive system. And finally, I will discuss about the application of electrical drive. Now, the question is, what is drive? Nowadays, there are some load. The performance of that load can be assessed through its motion control only. For example, you can consider crane as a load. You can consider washing machine as a load. You can consider fan as a load. You can consider robotic arm as a load. What you can see in washing machine, can you imagine without motion control of washing machine, it gives proficient output without considering motion control. Fan can give proficient output. It's not possible. For crane, washing machine, fan, mixer, robotic arm, there are numbers of load whose which performance are completely dependent on the speed of its speed. So there is a need of a system that can be used to control the speed of such load. A system is required. Without system, you can crane cannot operate properly. Without that type of system, your washing machine cannot operate properly. There is a need to control the speed of washing machine. There is a need to control the uh, motion of the robotic arms, position of the robotic arms. There is a need to control the position of the crane. There is a need to control the movement of the motion of the crane. So for such a load, a device is highly desirable. A system, not device. A system is highly desirable. And from that system, so that from that system, we can control its speed. Therefore, a system which can be utilized for the motion control of such loads is called drive system. Drive system is just a system that can be used for the motion control of some specific load. Basically, the drive system for the proficient operation of the drive system, for the proper operation or accurate operation of the drive system, there are a number of components are required. But mainly two components which are shown in this slide are the main components of the main components of the drive. And these components are, you can see in this slide, there are two components are shown for drive system, but this is a partial block diagram of the drive system. It is not the complete block diagram of the drive system. You can see here one component is load and the other components of the drive system is prime mover. You can see in this block diagram, the prime mover and load are connected with each other, or you can say these two are interfaced or associated with each other. The function of prime mover is to provide mechanical energy to the load, and load takes mechanical energy from the prime mover for its motion control, for the motion control of the load. Now you can see here that load can be a crane, load can be a washing machine, load can be a fan, load can be a mixer, load can be a robotic arm. Depending on the type of load, we have to select prime mover accordingly. I will discuss the matching between the load and I will discuss later the matching, the compatibility between load and prime mover later. But depending upon the load means the types of prime mover is obviously dependent on the types of load have been used. Similarly, the prime mover can be a petrol engine, prime mover can be a diesel engine, prime mover can be a steam engine, prime mover can be a hydraulic motor, or prime mover can be a electric motor. Any types of prime mover can be used. As I stated, the types of prime mover will definitely dependent on the type of load selected for speed control. Now, this is a drive system. Means for drive system, the prime mover can be petrol, diesel, steam turbine, hydraulic motor, or electric motor. Any of the prime mover you can select for the drive system. But this is not electrical drive. There is special condition for the electrical drive is its prime mover must be only electric motor. Means your drive system is called electrical drive if and only if your prime mover is electric motor. So this is the electrical drive system. You can see here the prime mover is you can see here the prime mover is electric motor. Prime mover is electric motor. So if drive system, if electric motor is used as the prime mover for the drive system, then the drive system is called electrical drive system. Now, electric motor can be AC motor. Electric motor can be AC motor. Electrical motor can be DC motor. And electric motor can be some special type of motor. What type of motor will be utilized or will be used in electrical drive system is completely dependent on the load. Nature of the load. You must remember the motor and its load must be compatible to each other. Here the important point is if you are using DC motor to control the speed of the load, then the drive will be DC drive. And if you are using AC motor to control the speed of the load, then the drive will be AC drive. So this is the difference between DC drive and AC drive. This is the complete block diagram of the electrical drive system. You can say these two components are not sufficient to give proper performance from these two components you cannot obtain accurate performance from the electrical drive system. Some more components are required. So the complete block diagram of electrical drive system is this. The complete block diagram has 6 major components, not only 2 major components. The electrical drive systems must have these 6 major components, and all components are very important. Now, I will discuss one by one each component of the electrical drive. So the components are source, power modulator, electric motor, load, sensing unit, and control unit. Now, electric motor. Come to the electric motor first. In drive system, you can use electric motor, and which can be a DC motor, AC motor, or a special motor. As I stated earlier, the types of motor must be checked according to the load which is to be controlled, which is speed to be controlled. DC motor can be a shunt motor, series motor, compound motor, or separately excited DC motor. Similarly, AC motor can be a squirrel cage induction motor, phase wound induction motor, permanent magnet synchronous motor, a special motor like BLDC motor, a stepper motor, switched reluctance motor. That what types of motor should be used, it is completely dependent on the type of load. You must remember these 2 points. First, a motor having speed torque characteristics and capability compatible to the load requirement. Load requirement means speed and torque demand. According to speed and torque demand of the load, motor will be selected. It can be DC motor, it can be AC motor, or it can be a special motor like BLDC motor, stepper motor, or switch reluctance motor. The second component of the electric drive system is power modulator. You can see in this block diagram, the power modulator is connected between source and electric motor. Now, what will be the role of the power modulator? Suppose this motor is DC motor. Suppose this motor is DC motor, and this motor is, this source is AC source. Then you can imagine what will be the role of the power modulator. In this case, power modulator act as a converter. It will convert, it will act as a rectifier. You can say it will act as a controlled rectifier. And the function of the power modulator in this case is to convert AC into DC. Similarly, if your source is DC and electric motor is AC, then what will be the role of the power modulator is? Power modulator in this case will be act as a inverter. So what will be the load or what will be the role of power modulator? It is completely decided from source and electric motor. So there are 4 basic functions of the power modulator. 4 basic functions of the power modulator. The first function of the power modulator is it modulates the flow of power from source to motor in such a manner that motor is imparted speed torque characteristics as required by the load. The second operation of the power modulator is it restrict the current limit. It restricts the source and motor current in permissible limit under the transient operation. Transient operation means during starting, braking, and speed reversal, the current becomes very high. And under this condition, the role of the power modulator will be to limit the value of the current. Further, its third function is to convert electric energy of the source in form of suitable to the motor. This statement means if source is AC and motor is DC, then what will be the role of power modulator? In this case, the power modulator will act as rectifier. It will act as a converter, and it converts from AC to source. AC source is AC and motor is DC. So the power modulator will convert AC into DC. Similarly, the fourth role of the power modulator is to select the mode of the operation of the motor, whether it will work under motoring mode or braking mode. This mode will be selected by the power modulator. These are the types of power modulator. Power modulator, if it acts as a converter or inverter, then it can be classified in 5 categories. The power modulator can be can be a control rectifier. In this case, it convert AC to DC. It can be inverter. In this case, it convert DC to AC. It can be a voltage controller. In this case, it convert AC to AC. It can act as a chopper, means it convert fixed to variable DC, or it can act as a cycloconverter, means for it can be used for frequency conversion. Now comes to the electric source. Electric source can be a single phase AC. This source can be used for low rating power drive or for home equipment. Basically, single phase AC source has been used, but for industrial application, we often use three phase AC. Similarly, in some case, battery can also be used for a source. Now, is another unit is control unit. The function of control unit is match the motor and power converter to meet the load requirement. This is the main thing. What is the role of control unit? Control unit match the motor and power converter to meet the load requirement. Similarly, control for the power modulator are built in control unit. Who will control the power modulator? This is the unit, control unit, which will control the operation of power modulator. Now, sensing unit, it is obvious from its name. It is used to sense the difference, or you can say it is used to sense the deviation from the reference value. For motor, it can be used for speed sensing, torque sensing, position sensing, current sensing. And for load, it can be used for torque sensing and temperature sensing. Basically, it mainly required either for protection or closed loop operation. No, this is the advantage. This slide represents indicates the few advantage of the electrical drive system. Electrical drive system. What are the advantages of the electrical drive system? Its first advantages are it has flexible control characteristic. It has flexible control characteristic. What is the meaning of flexible control characteristic? It means according to the load requirement, it's the motor characteristics can be shaped or motor characteristic can be changed as per the requirement of the load. The second advantage of electrical drive system is it has automatic fault detection system. Further, electrical drive systems are available in wide range of torque, speed, and power rating. Its efficiency is obviously high because electrical drive system use electrical motor and electrical motor is very efficient. Its loss is very small. Further, electrical motor is obviously pollution free, so electrical drive system will also be pollution free. It is adaptable to all operating conditions, means it can be used for explosive and radioactive environment also. And the main and the best characteristics, advantages of electrical drive system is it can be operated in all four quadrants of a speed torque plane. We will discuss what are the four quadrants in the second unit, but it can be used in all four quadrants, means it can be used for braking, it can be used for motoring, it can be used for other various modes of operations, and it can be used for all four modes of operation. And finally, the electrical drive system, no refueling is required or warm up of the motor is required. And these are the application of the electrical drive system. Electrical drive systems are used in various various industries. For example, it is used in paper mills, cement mill, textile mills, sugar mill, steel mills. It can be used in electrical traction. It can be used in petrochemical industry. It can be used in electrical vehicle. It can be used in home appliance. It can be used in the control of robotic arm. It can be used in motion control of the movement of the crane. These all are about the introductions of the electrical drive system. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the selection. What are the factors uh, on which electric motor selection of electric motor depends? What are the advantage of AC system, AC drive system over DC drive system? And what are the advantage of DC drive system over AC drive system? These types of things, these types of content have been covered in next lecture. Thank you.